You know, there's this hidden language that shapes absolutely everything around us. A secret set of rules that dictates how our world is built, how games are won, even how art is made. Well, today, we're going to decode it.
I mean, think about it. It's in the sharp lines of a skyscraper reaching for the clouds, or the gentle slope of a roof that keeps you dry.
And it's definitely in the games you play, right? It's that perfect arc of a soccer kick, the precise trajectory of a basketball hitting nothing but net. It's in the very design of the field itself.
Yep, that secret language, it's angles. They're the fundamental rulebook that governs pretty much everything. And in the next few minutes, you're going to learn how to read it.
All right, so if angles are the secret code, we've got to start with the absolute basics, right? We need to know what we're even looking at. So let's break this down. Every single angle has the same basic setup. You've got two lines, or rays, that act like it's arms, and that point where they meet, that's the vertex. That's really it. Super simple, right? But believe me, from this one little shape, all sorts of incredible complexity is born.
Okay, but here's the thing. Not all angles are the same. Let's get to know the main players. Think of these as the essential tools you're going to need in your toolkit to understand everything else.
So first up, we have the acute angle. This is any angle that's less than 90 degrees. It's small, it's sharp, like the tip of a pizza slice or a really sharp corner you might take in a car. And then you've got the absolute celebrity of the angle world, the right angle. It's exactly 90 degrees. It's that perfect corner you see on a square or the edge of a book. This one is super important because it's our main reference point. Basically, every other angle is either smaller or bigger than this. So what happens if an angle opens up wider than that 90-degree right angle? Well, then it becomes an obtuse angle. Think of a comfy reclining chair, or maybe the hands on a clock when it hits 4 o'clock. It's just wide and open.
And if you just keep opening that angle up, wider and wider, until its arms form a totally straight line, bam, you've got a straight angle, exactly 180 degrees. This one's a big deal for a lot of geometry puzzles.
Now, the cool thing is, these aren't just ideas. They're real, measurable values. You use a tool called a protractor. Maybe you remember it from school. You just place the little center hole right on the vertex. Line up one of the arms with the 0 line, and then just read the number where the other arm points. Super easy. Okay, so this is where it starts to get really fun. Angles don't just exist on their own, They have these relationships with each other, and they follow these super predictable rules. It's almost like a puzzle. So here we've got the two most common angle partnerships. On one side, you have complementary angles. These are two angles that fit together to make a perfect 90-degree right angle. And then you have supplementary angles. These guys team up to form a perfect 180-degree straight line. The best part? In both cases, if you know one of the angles, you can always figure out the other one. It's a giveaway. Oh, and you're going to love this one. This is a fantastic shortcut. Anytime you have two straight lines that cross, they make 4 angles, right? Well, the angles that are directly opposite each other, we call them vertically opposite angles. They are always equal, no exceptions. It's a simple rule, but man, is it a powerful one to have in your back pocket. All right, so we've got our basic tools. We know the rules of how they interact. Now, let's actually put that toolkit to work and see how these simple little ideas build the entire world around us. Okay, let's start with maybe the most important shape in all of geometry, the triangle. And it has this one single magic rule. I don't care if it's a tall, skinny triangle or a short, fat one, it doesn't matter. The 3 angles inside any triangle will always, and I mean always, add up to exactly 180 degrees. That's a rock-solid rule. And here's the thing, we can actually expand on that triangle rule. There's like a master code for almost any shape with straight sides. You just take the number of sides, let's call it n. You subtract 2 from it and then multiply that by 180. And you might be wondering, why does that work? Well, it's because any of these shapes can be sliced up into triangles. A square can be cut into 2 triangles, a pentagon, 3. So this one little formula lets you figure out the angles for a hexagon, an octagon, literally anything. And this, right here, brings us completely full circle. This master code is exactly why angles are so critical in the real world. Architects use these rules to design bridges that can handle massive weight. Athletes figure out the perfect angle to throw a ball to get the most distance. Pilots use angles to navigate all across the globe. And yeah, artists use them to create perspective, to make a flat painting feel like a world you could step into. And check this out. It just shows how timeless this knowledge really is.
We're talking thousands of years ago. The ancient Egyptians built the Great Pyramid using angles so unbelievably precise that it's still a total marvel of engineering. They absolutely understood the secret rulebook.
So, after all that, after going from a simple little point all the way to the pyramids, what's the big takeaway here? Let's boil it all down.
Okay, so here's what you really need to remember. First, angles are literally the building blocks of all shapes. Second, those basic types we talked about, acute, right, and obtuse, they're your reference points for everything. Third, those angle relationships are what help you solve all the puzzles. And finally, from the simplest little triangle to the Great Pyramids, angles pretty much define the world we live in.
The thing is, now that you know how to read the code, you're going to start seeing it everywhere. So I'll leave you with this one question. Just look around you, right now, wherever you are. What's the first angle you can spot and actually name? Is it the perfect right angle of your phone screen, or maybe the acute angle on the tip of a pencil? I'm telling you, once you start looking for them, you won't be able to stop.